we haven't even talked about Doofy.
Not in this episode. We've talked at length about Doofy in other episodes.
Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her little brother, William.
And so begins SCARMUTO.
Dawn of SCARMUTO.
Scary Movie October. Welcome, everyone.
The most sensible way to describe it.
That's right.
It is October 2024. For a number of years now, October has created like a theme month thing, which is kind of fun because we do scary stuff all year round.
Right.
October's got to be special. It's got to be the baddest of all time.
Yeah.
We did Slashtober. Famously, we did Cagetober.
I also completely forgot we did Slashtober Revisited.
Slashtober Revisited, which I think was like reboots and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gametober, where we looked at all Death Game movies and stuff.
Yep.
It only makes sense for us to look at what genuinely might be some of the scariest stuff we've ever looked at on Guide to the Unknown. The Scary Movie spoof film parody series. Mm-hmm. But why call it Scary Movie October? That's way too long.
No, SCARMUTO.
SCARMUTO.
Scaramoo, can you do the SCARMUTO?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Thunderbolts and lightning. Here we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna start the right way. At the beginning,
the first one,
the origin of it all. 2000, what is it?
Just 2000.
Yeah, just 2000's Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Tagline, no shame, no mercy, no sequel.
Which then, after the sequel came out, they put a big red X over the words no sequel on the DVDs and VHSs, perhaps, of Scary Movie.
Which is an amusing way to handle that. Yeah, because it did go on, obviously, to have 4 sequels.
Yeah.
Scary Movies 1 through 5. And as of this recording, it has been confirmed and with no other traction that there will be a Scary Movie 6.
Yeah.
Will it be a reboot or will it continue the ongoing saga of Anna Faris's character, Cindy Campbell?
We can only hope and pray that there's news about this that comes out during the recording of SCARMUTO.
God,
Wouldn't that
I
be
hope
incredible?
So. That would be magical if we could track the ongoing developments in the Scary Movie franchise throughout SCARMUTO.
Yes, and as luck would have it, this October has 5 Fridays in it. There are 5 scary movies.
Yep.
So we will be hitting each movie each week this month. So we'll be with you all month.
All month. Mm-hmm. Scary Movie 1 through 5. We will not stop, even if people beg us to stop. We're committing to SCARMUTO.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will all culminate on Halloween itself with Scary Movie 5. I'm sure there'll be plenty to say. Happy SCARMUTO, everybody.
Maybe we'll have completely run out of steam.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Halloween episode is like 15 minutes long.
Right.
It's just like same thing, everybody.
Exhausted.
I don't know. But for sure there's plenty to say about Scary Movie 1.
Yeah, no, there certainly is. So we are going to get to that right after this commercial break.
Okay, Kristen, what is your history with Scary Movie?
Like, almost none. I've obviously seen Scary Movie before. I didn't remember it really. I may have even seen it like only once or something. Yeah. I really barely remembered this movie.
Really? I have seen this movie many times. Like many times. I begged Dad to take me to go see Scary Movie, like drive me and a friend.
I was going to say, you saw Scary Movie with Dad.
Well, I wanted him to just drive me to the movie theater so I could see it with a friend. But this is an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
It was the year 2000. I was 14 years old. Mm-hmm. Dad insisted that he come into the movie theater with us. He insisted. And he said, you're not going to be allowed to see it if I'm not there.
Right.
Which I don't know. What was he going to do? He's going to jump in front of the screen when something objectionable occurred?
Well, did he mean literally because it's rated R? Like you wouldn't be admitted? Because
maybe.
It's like,
yeah, possibly.
Under 17, not admitted without parent present?
Possibly. That's a good point. I don't remember what friend it was that I went with, but I did insist, and this is such a teenager thing. I made Dad sit away from us.
I'm sure that made it a little bit more comfortable during a lot of the scenes in this.
Yeah, but I also was then just like, Dad is somewhere behind me right now.
Yeah,
like,
that's so weird.
Watching everything that happens in this film. There is nudity.
Did Dad enjoy this movie? Like, did you guys have a talk on the way home?
You know, I don't remember. Maybe it was silent.
Probably.
The whole drive home, I'm not
just
sure.
Staring straight forward.
I can only surmise. It seems logical to me that his entire reaction would be, that was a dopey movie.
Yeah.
That was dopey.
Yes.
Just like very succinct.
Definitely. I can hear him calling it dopey.
Yeah, not much to say about it. But there is a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recommend?
So you must have enjoyed it. If you've seen it a bunch of times, that means you saw it in the theater and then you were like, this is good.
Well, I don't
Which
think
is by the way, understandable for the time.
I was 14.
Yes.
I was 14.
Completely understandable for the time.
Yeah. This movie is like, I mean, what a great example of like how movies are sometimes just not at all timeless.
No.
What an era, the language, the sensitivities or lack thereof.
This is quite a time capsule.
This is a very 2000 movie. This is what it was like.
Yeah.
This is what humor was like.
This is what movie, we were walking around with.
This movie crushed it, by the way. This movie was tremendously successful.
Yeah.
Here's why I saw it as many times as I did. The year 2000 would have been around the height of my Scream obsession.
Yeah.
Scary Movie is able to parody Scream 1 through 3. The original trilogy had completed.
Right.
The Scream was done by the time Scary Movie came out.
Yeah.
But this movie was released by Dimension Pictures.
I know.
Which is the same distributor, same production house as Scream.
Right, which is how I guess, like, there was because it seems like they would get in trouble because it's just like exactly Scream in a lot of ways, but it's the same company, so.
Yeah, it's the same company. Yeah. They owned the rights to all this stuff anyway.
Right.
But I think that like a parody movie probably gets away with a lot of stuff anyway.
Probably, but it like a lot of times it's like the exact same scripts, like just in little snippets and everything.
Yeah.
But just like same beats, it's weird.
It is weird, except there is like a long history of movies being like this. The only way that I can like adequately
to this degree of aping, you think?
Yes, confirmed.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna relate the type of funny movie this is through Weird Al.
Okay.
All right. Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah. Okay.
Does two different kinds of funny song. Sometimes it's Smells Like Nirvana instead of Smells Like Teen Spirit, where it's literally the tune of Smells Like Teen Spirit, except it's all about it sounds like you got marbles in your mouth because nobody can understand Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
The other thing Weird Al does is what he calls a style parody. And this is where he'll have a song like, oh God.
Angry White Boy Polka. Wait, that's not
kind of, but that's like a medley.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of a song that wasn't.
I know.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm not as familiar with his style parodies. I went to an entire concert of his that was all style parodies, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
But because they're original works of his, but like he'll write a song that sounds like a Bob Dylan song.
Right.
But it's not directly following the tune of a Bob Dylan song.
Yeah.
It's not Eat It to Beat It.
Right.
It's something that sounds like Michael Jackson would have written.
Yeah.
So he does style parodies. A lot of these spoof movie things are style parodies. The Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen is not the plot of some other more serious film. It's just a send up of any cop drama thing.
Sure. And as I was saying that, I think that also I'm like, oh, this is so weird because I don't really like this movie. But I'm thinking about Mel Brooks movies that like kind of fall into the same category as far as parody. And yeah, I'm like, no, there's no problem here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? Yes. So like Mel Brooks's High Anxiety, by and large has a lot of the same plot as like Vertigo. Right.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. And very famously, like one of the most like beloved parody movies of all time, Airplane, is a direct one-to-one. The pacing, a lot of the dialogue, as this old black and white movie called Airport.
Oh.
The movie Airport is like passengers on this plane eat the fish and it makes them sick and somebody's got to take over the plane to land it. That's the plot of Airplane. Airplane knew that they were...
Is Airport a serious movie?
Yes.
Really?
It's a very serious
It's about somebody getting sick on bad fish.
I think so, yeah.
Interesting.
But so Airplane was like, we're literally taking that structure. It's almost like making a whole movie just to do a Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Or like Young Frankenstein.
Or like Young Frankenstein. Yeah, it's basically the plot of Frankenstein, but with jokes. So Scary Movie is like a Weird Al song.
Right.
This is the plot of Scream, but with additional jokes and gags from other horror movies too. But the framework, the skeleton of Scary Movie 1 is Scream.
Right.
And that is why I watched it so much.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Because I was also kind of amazed that this thing existed. Like, it was weird to me. Like, there's like a real double dip thing going on for Dimension, where it's like Kevin Williamson wrote Scream under the title Scary Movie.
Right.
It's, this is all a movie, all one big scary movie. His movie was called Scary Movie, and they changed it to Scream.
Yeah.
There were even like hats, like production hats. While they're making the movie, they think the movie's going to end up going out as Scary Movie. It's not until like the 0 hour that Dimension says that we're calling it Scream, and no one liked the title.
Right.
Well, Dimension owns the title Scary Movie.
Yeah.
And horror is big again in the 90s. And so the Wayans brothers in particular started writing a script that was making fun of or parodying all these horror movies.
Yeah, I think it was called Scream If You Know What
I did last
Halloween. Yeah.
Just horrible.
Right.
Which is also, there is another parody movie called Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th. Yeah. Starring Tiffany Amber Thiessen and friend of the show, Tom Arnold.
Yeah.
So the Wayans brothers.
I didn't know he was in that, but as soon as you said friend of the show, we have no other famous friend of the show.
There's no other friends.
It's got to be Tom.
We only have the one friend.
Yeah.
So Dimension this is almost like a very like cynical move. It's like we made a movie that people loved that was comedic-ish. Yeah. It was self-aware Scream, but it was also pretty serious. Self-serious and melodramatic at times, which I love. And they were like, yeah, I bet we could totally distribute a complete send-up of our own movie under the title that we also own. Right. That was the title for that movie. And basically, using the same script, get 2 different box offices. Yeah. Now, I mean, the script is like completely different too, because it's like full of jokes and everything. But that's what's weird, is like
the basic structure of like what has happened here is the same.
Is it weird to do a parody of a movie that to some extent satirizes things? Like Scream was self-aware. Is it weird to have a parody of something that is a satire?
Kind of, but I think like parody usually is of something that's super popular.
That's true.
So just by means of it being super popular, I guess it's like ready to be parodied.
Yeah. All right. Good point. Good point. So the movie is directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans, written by Sean Wayans, Marlon Wayans, Buddy Johnson, Phil Bowman. These are all guys that had worked together on the Wayans Brothers show. Right. And then they made the movie, Scary Movie, all together. But there are 2 other writers credited on this. Did you come across this and like looking anything up?
No.
Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer.
Oh, yes, I did, but I didn't know who they were.
Okay. Yeah. Friedberg and Seltzer is what they would become like known as their writing duo. Yeah. Those 2 guys are responsible for stuff like Date Movie.
Oh, that's right. I did see this, and I just
Epic Movie.
Right.
The Scary Movie.
This was unsurprising to me.
I know. Yeah. But so they had also been writing a script that was a parody of horror movies that Dimension was interested in. Yeah. And because of the Writers Guild's like arbitration and rules and everything, their names ended up on this movie. Yeah. Even though this script has apparently 0 contributions from them. Huh. However, their names being on this movie
helped them get these other jobs.
Yes, is what opened the doors to create the glut of parodies that the 2000s suffered under.
What was Meet the Spartans? I was going to ask what the 300 spoof was.
Meet the Spartans, I think was they'd already crossed the line in my mind. But by the time that Meet the Spartans came out, all I remember was telling people like, I can't wait to see Meet the Spartans.
I remember that.
Even though, I would constantly be like, I'm going to see it a 4th time. I never saw it once in my life.
I just realized that Spartans is very close to being an anagram of parents.
Oh, like Meet the Parents, Meet the Spartans. Is that what the intent was?
I don't know. Probably not.
That's awful.
Yeah. Probably not, right?
It's awful.
I don't know.
So this movie I associate entirely with the Wayans brothers.
Oh,
Scary Movie 1 and Scary Movie 2 are like Wayans Brothers movies to me.
Definitely.
I watched the Wayans Brothers show and loved it.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
It was so funny. I've not gone back and looked at it in a million years. I don't know if it aged well or whatever. but I remember really liking it. And so I was like kind of excited in this movie. Like there was a meta thing at the end where Sean Wayans is like, TV shows don't create psychos. Canceling TV shows does. The Wayans Brothers was a good show. He's like crying, and it's like, I like that. I like that. It felt like
because I thought it was a good show.
They're actually it's like they actually.
No, I know.
This is the dopey thing about me is like, it felt for a moment like Scary Movie actually had something to say, and that's the kind of thing that can resonate with me.
Oh God.
Way too much. Where I'm like, I like that.
So you must have obviously seen who originally was going to be one of the killers, right?
Yeah, remind me.
It was going to be Damon Wayans coming out, and it was going to be because Sean Wayans and Marlon Wayans betrayed him by doing something that led to the cancellation of the Wayans Brothers show.
Oh, okay.
So it was going to be even more heavy-handed about that.
Probably a good change that they didn't do that.
Probably.
It's already like this to me is like a Wayans Brothers extravaganza.
Totally.
At least even though they're not the main characters in it, like you get the sense that like all of this is because of their comedic sensibilities.
But I feel like it would be, I don't know, maybe they would have dropped a bunch of other Wayans Brothers show references earlier in the movie were that to have been the killer.
Right.
But for him to just come out and all of a sudden like the thrust of this was about the Wayans Brothers TV show
that would be way too far.
Whoa.
Way too far. Thank God they went with something far more sensible and tasteful and classy.
So William, would you recommend this movie?
This movie came out in 2000. It's 2024.
Yeah.
It's the end of 2024.
Mm-hmm. Well, mid.
The times have changed. I recommend Scary Movie. I think it's stupid. I think a lot of things have aged very poorly.
Of course.
But it is so dumb. I was laughing way more than I'm comfortable admitting. Partially because Allie was in the room while I watched it. She was working on something else, and I was like, I have to watch this for work.
Yeah, right.
Is that okay? And she's like, put it on.
Yeah, I will permit it.
I couldn't stop myself laughing. And I think part of it was that Allie was just trying to get her work done.
Yeah, right. The dichotomy was like, what the hell?
It's a total calamity. This movie made me laugh.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. There's a lot to say about what does and does not work, in my opinion.
Of course.
I recommend Scary Movie 1.
Wonderful.
Do you recommend Scary Movie?
I don't recommend Scary Movie, unfortunately. Now
it's only going to get worse. You know.
I know.
There's not. If you can't recommend one, then it's a foregone conclusion that SCARMUTO is going to result in disaster for you.
This is going to be rough.
Yeah.
I also laughed a good amount.
Okay.
However, it was mostly me just. I don't know. I just didn't. It was a lot. But at the same time, I was having a hard time focusing on it.
Yeah.
I was just like,
it gets straight up boring.
Yeah, I was like kind of bored in a weird way. There's like so much going on that I was just like sort of zoning out, and then I'd be like, come back to it. However, punctuated certainly by laughs. There were definitely things that made me laugh.
Yes.
However, there was more that I was just like, oh God, okay, than made me laugh.
That's fair.
So
I think that's entirely fair.
In balance, I have to say I don't recommend it. However, was certainly pleasantly surprised by some of the stuff that made me laugh.
Yes, it's a shocker that this isn't just like a groany cringe fest 100% of the time.
Yes, totally. Yeah. I did laugh within like the first minute.
Yes, that was what I told Kristen. I was like, within 1 minute of putting the movie on, I had already laughed.
Yeah, and I did too.
And I still laugh at the ending, which I still think is very funny, even though it's crazy.
Yes, that is really funny.
And like, I think that sometimes it's like, sometimes if a movie or a show or whatever just ends on a good vibe, even if I was bored earlier, like if it creates some sort of like energy when the credits like roll, then like there's goodwill as I leave the movie.
There usually is that for me, but like the protracted fight scene.
That fight scene is terrible.
Like was really losing me. So I was really on a downward slope.
I think that's
toward the
fair
end of the movie.
And responsible.
I certainly came back up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was ready for it to be over.
Yeah, that's correct.
When it ended.
That's totally correct.
Right. I think this is going to be a tough month.
Let's, I really think it only gets worse.
I know.
It only gets worse.
I know. I'm looking forward to seeing Chris Elliott.
I know. That.
But.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there. That's next week.
Of
okay,
course.
let's stay on this week.
You're right, of course.
Please, head in the clouds. You're at work right now?
My head in the clouds is fantasizing about Scary Movie 2.
Seeing that guy with his strong hand?
Yeah.
All right. So,
okay.
We're going to spoil Scary Movie. You know how we do on SCARMUTO. We gave our recommend and not recommend. If for some reason you're afraid of having Scary Movies spoiled for you, it's about to happen. Your worst nightmare. It's time to go. It's about to come true. All right, everybody. Here we go.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. She's an old woman.
Is there any old woman?
No, she's not.
Cindy's grandma. Cindy's grandma who she throws down the stairs at Ghostface.
And then hits with a piano and she goes flying.
That's correct.
Yes. I did like her going flying that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. She like goes flying through the air as if made of feathers.
Yeah. Made of feathers. Let's start with the first minute.
Laugh.
The first laugh. The first laugh that to me let me know that I was in safe hands. That I was going to be cared for.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Carmen Electra, not Drew Barrymore.
No.
But it's the exact opening of Scream.
Totally. She's playing Drew Decker.
She's making popcorn on the stove, and so she shakes the Jiffy Pop thing on the stove when Ghostface calls. And in Scream, he hears the shaking of the popcorn and goes, "What's that sound?" She goes, "Popcorn."
Yeah.
I don't eat popcorn at the movies. Well, in Scary Movie, they send that up hard.
They really do.
She puts the popcorn on the stove. And
then she lets out a short, sharp staccato fart.
What's that noise? Oh, sorry. I farted. I didn't think you'd hear it. I was like, God damn it. God damn it. I was saying
off with a bang.
I know. I was saying to Allie, I was like, once you are definitely making a parody of Scream.
Yeah.
And you're like, now where am I going to fit the jokes? And you're watching Scream and you've got your notepad in your hand.
Right.
And Ghostface says, "What's that noise?" I bet there's
fart.
Eureka.
Yeah. I've got it.
By Joe, I think I've got something for this moment. Ghostface wonders what a noise was. A fart makes a noise.
It fits perfectly.
You put chocolate in my peanut butter. We've got this.
Also, that opening, I remember from the commercial or the trailer, but either one, it seemed kind of crazy to me, but also very 2000s. So it's the whole, opening scene of her being chased by Ghostface, ultimately killed, whatever. So he eventually gets her outside and she's running through the sprinklers and I guess Ghostface tears her clothes off, or she does.
Yeah,
Probably
as he's trying to, because they do that like slow-mo shot of Drew Barrymore running, but instead of him grabbing her to stab her in the throat, he pulls her and she runs right out of her clothes.
Right. And then it's like slow-mo Carmen Electra, like doing like hot girl stuff with like her big boobies and everything. And I was like, this is so weird that this was in the commercial. Because it's like slow-mo, like squeezing her boobs together and everything.
It's so...
It's so of a time.
It really is of a time. Not that, I don't know. It's so pointless. I guess it's also like, it's a joke that's not a joke. It's like, that's literally just to be like,
yeah, it's...
There's a hot chick.
Yeah, totally. I just thought it was funny that would be in the, I'm pretty sure commercial. If not commercial, certainly trailer.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think that level of objectification or nudity is usually in commercials or trailers now.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think you're right. And then he stabs her in the chest and pulls out an implant.
Yeah.
I like that he had this like icky feeling where he had to push the implant off of his knife to keep chasing her.
Right.
And then she, runs into the road and her parents are driving in and they hit her with the car because there's some celebration happening.
So many road celebration scenes.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of blowjob jokes.
But still.
A lot.
But specifically Roadhead.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It is weird for that to show up twice in the movie.
Yeah.
So Drew Decker is dead. I want to call out the stupidest possible thing that I like about the Drew Decker opening is that in Scream, it's been like described that like the Jiffy Pop she puts on a stove is like a timer for the scene, that it burns.
Right.
when everything goes crazy. By the end of the thing, it's like the kitchen's filled with smoke.
Yeah.
And in this movie, it balloons up to this like enormous foil ball that's like rumbling on the stove. And it has the worst puppeteering
Yes. It
of
looks
all
so
time.
silly.
Which is like perfect. It
Yes.
looks like 70s puppeteering.
Totally. Like, okay, so I've never seen Airplane.
Yeah.
But
What? Really?
No.
Wow.
But I've seen, Naked Gun, all those things. And looking at that Jiffy Pop on the stove made me think of, I don't know why, specifically Airplane. I was like, oh, that's right. It's this kind of thing.
Yes.
Like big silly props and
Just,
stuff.
hey, someone shake that thing.
Yeah.
It's on a stick. Just shake the stick. And it
Yeah.
just like looks like crap.
Right.
But that makes it look great.
Yeah, it makes it funnier.
I don't know why that shaking bag of popcorn specifically, I was like, that's funny. That's
Yeah.
a funny way to shake a bag of popcorn. They did the right level of shaking a bag of popcorn.
Yes, they made the right move.
It's so dumb, but it's
I know.
it's little shit like that makes me go like, this isn't just like some crap throwaway thing. Because the other thing that's in my head when I'm watching a scary movie in 2024 is like, it's hard not to think about all of the dregs of all the parody shit that came later.
True. So that elevates it.
Well, it just like, it feels like an actual
comparison.
It feels like an actual production.
Yeah,
Like, it feels
no,
like
it
an
is
actual movie.
certainly true.
Like on the Netherworld Dispatch, we've watched a lot of clips of like the Starving Games.
We have 2 episodes, I think at least, where we just watch terrible parodies.
That was for Death Game Tober. That was a year ago. How weird is
really?
that? So yeah, we were looking at the knockoff scary movie stuff on the Netherworld Dispatch last year during Death Game Tober.
We've done it before, too.
Oh, we definitely have.
Yeah.
We definitely have. But maybe there's something about these parody movies that just like feels right for October for us. I don't know.
I guess so.
But so like these movies, these parody films were so popular and were so dependable for making some form of profit, I guess.
Yeah.
That studios and even indies later, I think, or like the smaller production houses would just pump out parodies. Low effort, just like, yeah, make a blowjob joke and a fart joke and have someone who's like, if you can't do nudity because you want it to be PG-13, at least somewhat have like some hot chick in her underwear.
Yeah.
It's like the most low effort ever. I get off of Scary Movie some effort.
Yeah.
Undeniably, there's more effort in Scary Movie than like any of the others.
I think that that's true.
And that was
The writing is better
The writing,
based on
yeah.
what we've seen from those.
Oh, God, yes. Where it's not just like, what? Iron Man is here?
Yeah, right. Those are insane.
Oh,
It'll just be like Iron Man in the Hunger Games for no reason.
And then a cow falls on him.
Yeah,
You know, it's
yeah.
like just like the worst. There is a moment.
And then a cow falls on him. You're right.
There is a moment in this movie that is so stupid that it's almost equivalent to Iron Man getting a cow dropped on him, but I liked it.
What was it?
So I said that like the framework of this movie is Scream, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like instead of Sidney Prescott, it's Cindy Campbell, Nev Campbell, Cindy Campbell.
Right.
And her dad's going away, and Ghostface is essentially Ghostface. It's like a terrible knockoff mask.
Oh, it looks so gross.
It's so ugly looking.
Yeah.
It's like all. It looks like somebody.
Yeah, ugly. It's not gross.
It's
It just looks
ugly. Yeah, it's like the plastic's not soft. It's like the worst mold ever. And Ghostface is going after them one by one. But there's also a lot of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes.
So there's this whole scene where everyone's like, maybe all the killings are happening now because of what we did last year.
Oh, yeah.
They flash back to the fact that all of our main characters had hit a guy and then tossed his body into the ocean.
Yeah.
And is maybe now the killer today, that guy. But during that flashback, there are several jokes. One is my favorite joke of the whole movie. And one is so stupid that when I looked at it, it was white noise. And then when I thought about it, I started to really admire it.
Please tell both of them.
What you want first?
Your favorite of the whole movie.
My favorite joke of the whole movie is there's a lot of stuff happening with the kids in the car, but finally they hit this guy in the street.
Yeah.
And he's dressed like a fisherman because that's what happens in I Know What You Did Last Summer. They hit a fisherman guy.
Yep.
And the car like swerves to a stop and they all get out like, what the hell was that? Something jumped in front of the car? Did we hit something? And Shannon Elizabeth walks over and she goes, oh my God. And she picks up an empty rubber boot. And she goes, we hit a boot. And Lachlan Monroe goes, where's the foot? That's my favorite joke.
That's a good joke.
That's my favorite joke of the movie. We hit a boot. Where's the foot?
Yeah.
And he's acting like Ryan Phillippe, where he's like so amped up aggressive.
Yeah.
That's a reasonable question for him to ask. But where's the foot?
Also happy to see Lachlan Monroe. I completely forgot that he was in this movie.
I forgot he was in this movie too. I like him.
Yeah.
I like Lachlan Monroe
Me
quite
too.
a bit. I like everybody that's in this movie. I like the Wayans brothers.
I
particularly like Sean Wayans.
Yeah, I like Sean. I do not like Marlon Wayans in this movie. He's so annoying.
He is incredibly annoying.
I can't do it.
He is incredibly annoying. I
Yeah.
know. But I really like Sean Wayans a lot. I think that
Yeah, I
there's
do
something
too.
that's understated about him.
I do too.
I think he's a really good performer, but because he's not as big as Marlon Wayans,
Yeah.
sometimes he's overlooked.
Yeah, totally.
But I really like him.
No, I do too.
I also know that Marlon Wayans, and this is like a sign of the times kind of thing, but like this movie has like gay jokes like crazy. It's got like Miss Man, the gym teacher, who is a female gym teacher who has balls. I don't know what's going on.
I don't understand what's going on with Miss Man because
I don't know.
Okay, so Miss Man says to Cindy, when Cindy is coming to Miss Man for help or something, I don't remember what's going on, but she says to Cindy that, sometimes you do things that they regret. They go too far trying to get an edge on the competition. So is it that Miss Man was born a biological female and then like took testosterone to get an edge on the competition, and this caused Miss Man to grow testicles?
Yeah, she's got this gnarly long ball sack prosthetic that's hanging out of her underwear and like bumps into Anna Faris's arm and shit.
Right.
It's so crazy. I don't know.
We don't need to know, honestly.
I thought it was born biological male, but then transitioned to female.
I know.
Or either way, there's not a way to slice this joke that makes you go, "Oh, what a clever joke."
No, it certainly doesn't.
It's just people who are ambiguous in their gender are hilarious.
It is that, but
Right.
her saying that was like, wait, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Getting an edge on the competition and going too far?
I don't know.
And that made you whatever they're pretending this is? I don't get it, but whatever.
There are multiple things in the movie where I'm like, that would lift right out. Miss Man. Why is this scene in the movie?
Jennifer Coolidge turned that role down?
I wonder why.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Back to the flashback to the dumb thing that I like.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, you were talking about Marlon Wayans and all the gay stuff in this. I think I know what you were getting at.
Yeah. So I don't know the whole story, but I know that during Pride this year, Marlon Wayans had posted like a series of photos. Like I guess he has a son who is gay.
Excuse me. I don't know the whole thing either. I just saw the headlines.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But he posted being like, I'm proud of my family, like happy Pride. Like, like shut down anybody who disagrees. And so Marlon Wayans predictably got blasted by a ton of people that were like, well, you're canceled.
Yeah.
Like you suck, like you're woke, whatever. And it was actually refreshing to be like off of Scary Movie, which
and then also he just came back and was like, F you.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the exact right thing to do. Sean Wayans in this movie, the entire joke with Sean Wayans is he gay or not?
Right.
He does so many things that appear to be stereotypically gay.
Yeah.
Like he's wearing a yellow undershirt and he goes, does this make me look gay?
Yeah.
And Lachlan Monroe goes, no. And then he flips the shirt to like, I don't know how to describe this, but he like tucks the under part of the shirt through the neck.
If anybody is around my age, which is 40, when I was younger, and also like pre-boobs. It's kind of crazy to think about doing this now, but I guess like in elementary school or something, girls would, you would take like, I'm not doing it, I'm just trying to remember how to do it. You would take like the bottom edge of your shirt and then flip it into the neck of your shirt and pull. It
would turn your shirt into almost like a bra top thing. And so he does that and he goes, how about now?
Yeah.
And Lachlan Monroe's like, still cool.
Yeah.
But it's like are you trying to are you trying to look gay? Are you asking like when will I look gay enough?
Right. Does this help?
And then he's got his girlfriend Brenda, the wonderful Regina Hall.
I love Regina Hall.
Who he makes put on he's like, you look so hot in my football jersey.
Yeah.
Here, put this on. And he keeps putting like the shoulder pads on her and then a full helmet.
Yeah.
And then he just starts calling her Brandon.
Right.
It's like, all right, is the character gay or not? And then by the end of the movie, he'll go, what? I'm not gay.
Yeah.
Landing the punchline.
Right.
But the whole thing is just gay jokes the whole way. So I have to say, like, I was glad that like 24 years on.
Yeah.
It's like, can we just like
They've grown up.
As anyone should.
Of course.
Hopefully,
yes.
right? Like, it's impossible to look at this movie and be like, what a great endorsement.
I know.
You know?
What wonderful values this movie espouses.
Exactly.
But, what are you going to do?
So back to the dumbest thing in the world that happens in this movie. Before they hit the fisherman, they're like driving all crazy.
Yeah.
Cindy's boyfriend, Bobby, is trying to get her to like go down on him in the car and stuff. And Lachlan Monroe is making out with Shannon Elizabeth. Sean Wayans and Regina Hall are making out. Sean Wayans has his hand in Lachlan Monroe's ass and pulls his hand out and makes a popping noise.
It goes like... and Lachlan Monroe was like, "Ooh, I like what you're doing there. It's so freaky." To Shannon Elizabeth,
love when you play with my ass.
Yeah.
She goes, "I'm not playing with your ass."
Yeah.
He goes, "Ray."
Right.
Sean Wayans goes, "Oh, my bad." So stupid.
So stupid.
So just like Ryan Phillippe in I Know What You Did Last Summer, Lachlan Monroe like pops out the sunroof.
Yeah.
To be like, "Woo!" Like holding like a
"We're gonna live forever"
whiskey bottle.
Yeah.
Nothing bad will ever happen.
Yeah.
And they run into like he keeps getting hit with tree branches.
Yeah.
In his face, and then at a certain point, just a full beehive is on his head.
Yeah.
It's the worst, like carved out of foam.
It
prop.
looks terrible, and also it kind of looks like a poop emoji.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a poop emoji.
It's just like brown,
and it's so big. It's like resting on his shoulders. This beehive that's just on his head, and as he's screaming. And then they hit the fisherman. But I was looking, and I was like, "That's so stupid." And then I was imagining a team of people going like, "So when we get the whole beehive on his head, how big do you need the beehive that goes on his head to be?"
Right.
Like once it got into the nuts and bolts practicality of people trying to solve the problem of how to get a beehive on Lachlan Monroe's head, it became funny to me. I was like, there's a scene in this movie where a guy gets a whole ass beehive on his head.
Yeah.
And I started to enjoy myself. There are a multitude of ways that this movie surprised and delighted me.
Yeah. Look, it's wonderful to feel that way.
Did you do your homework? Did you pick your favorite moment?
I did. I have a few favorite moments.
I can't wait, but we have to wait.
Oh, okay. You're right. All right, little cliffhanger.
And I want to hear your favorite moments from Scary Movie.
Okay, but first, we have to talk about some of our favorite moments in life, which are working on the Netherworld Dispatch.
Yes, this is a podcast that only exists on patreon.com/GTTUpod, which is the best way to support Guide to the Unknown.
Yes.
The Netherworld Dispatch comes out every single Monday. It is so much fun to do. We often do things on the Netherworld Dispatch that we genuinely cannot get away with.
Right.
On Guide to the Unknown.
Yeah, because of copyright rules.
It's all fair use, though. I believe it's all fair use.
Of course.
I genuinely believe it's all fair use and that the internet is not built today for the kinds of things that we like to do.
Yeah.
Looking at clips and stuff.
Yeah.
Our episodes frequently get flagged.
Correct.
Anyway.
But we find ways.
No pirating.
Around it. No.
Genuinely just looking at stuff and commenting on it. Anyway, all that is to say, you can see how much we have to dance about what it is that we do. Go check out the Netherworld Dispatch. On Patreon, there are a number of different tiers. However much you're willing to, able to support us is greatly appreciated no matter what. You're going to see all the benefits that come with each tier labeled nice and clearly. You get access to our Discord. You can join this community of like-minded people who are into Guide to the Unknown.
Yeah, it's awesome. They're talking in there every day. It's such a nice group of people. You'll love it. Yep.
And you get different amounts of the Netherworld Dispatch every month, leading up to the top tier, our Demon tier.
Yep.
Where you get a new episode every single Monday. It's like clockwork.
Yeah, it's excellent. We do things like look at Unsolved Mysteries episodes. We do rankings of things. We look at different horror news of the day. It's a really, really good time.
Super fun. And like I said, we looked at Meet the Spartans? Or we definitely looked at the Starving Games.
Yes, certainly.
And Stan Helsing.
Oh, yeah.
The worst horror parody movie, which inexplicably has Kenan Thompson in it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
He looked like he didn't want to be there.
No, these movies are reprehensible.
Yeah. So go check that out. Patreon.com/GTTUpod. I'd also like to read a lovely review of the show that was written by Jay Campin on a Nuth.
Ooh.
I think I'm reading that right. It's also signed Jess.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'll just say Jess.
Okay.
The best podcast, it says. I've been a listener for a while now. I don't even listen to podcasts on this platform, Apple Podcasts, but I had to come leave a review anyway because the podcast is that good. Kristen and Will are so funny and witty, and their sibling dynamic is great. I frequently find myself laughing out loud while listening. The topics they cover are also great.
Oh, sorry, Jess.
SCARMUTO.
Clearly, this was pre-SCARMUTO.
They, of course, delve into the big names in horror, but also tackle lesser-known topics that I've never heard of. It's always interesting to hear their takes on things. Thank you, Kristen and Will, for creating such an awesome, warm, spooky little space for your listeners. I'll keep listening for as long as you keep cranking out the episodes. GTTU fan for life, Jess.
Aw,
5 stars.
Thank you. Thank you, Jess. That is so nice.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody who leaves us reviews. It really means a lot to us. It really helps people check out the show. Thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. Thank you to anybody who sends their friend an episode that they like. You're all great.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Happy SCARMUTO, everybody.
Happy SCARMUTO.
Oh, I can't wait to hear Kristen's favorite moments of Scary Movie, a movie she doesn't recommend. I can't wait to hear all her favorite moments. She's scrolling through so many notes. I took like 0 notes. After this commercial break.
Okay, so here are my favorite jokes. Okay, there are 2. I thought there were a bunch.
Okay.
Just 2.
All right.
But there
Why'd you write so many notes?
I don't know.
What'd you have to say? You had
know.
so much to say.
One of my notes just says Kurt Fuller alert. I don't know.
Yeah, hell yeah. Kurt Fuller's great.
I know. Okay, best jokes. I surprisingly liked it when Cindy's dad is leaving, just like when Sydney's dad is leaving in Scream, clearing the way for her to be alone in the house or whatever. And he is a drug dealer in Scary Movie.
Yeah.
And, you know, the same way that like a parent would be like, okay, make sure that you lock all the doors and windows, whatever. He's telling her how to manage like the cocaine stash that they have or whatever. And he says to her, now, what do you cut it with? And she says, baking soda, not baking powder. And he says, if you use baking powder, those guys will have muffins growing out of their nose. And she cracks up and he says, you've loved that joke since you were 2 years old. So they're just talking about drug stuff, like in this like very cute, homey way that they're playing completely straight.
Yes.
And I thought it was funny.
I know. I kind of like that muffins growing out of their nose joke, too.
Yeah.
I found this man to be Andy Richter coded.
Yeah.
So something people say, right?
Yes, he was Andy Richter coded.
Spoiler alert, we'll see Andy Richter next week. So
That's right.
I wonder if they finally landed the big fish.
Yeah, I guess they did. They got the big account. And then the other one that I really liked is, it's like right after that basically, is when Bobby, Cindy's boyfriend, is in her room a la Billy Loomis. And he was trying to hook up or whatever. And like it was, you know, she didn't want to do it. And then he's going to leave her room. And she says, would you settle for PG-13? The same way that Sydney flashes Billy her boobs before he leaves, Cindy flashes Bobby, and they show a close-up of a hairy man's chest, like wiggling.
And it goes like... It makes like a little sloppy noise when he sees it, and then he falls out the window. Yeah. I made Allie stop working to look up at the TV at this moment because this is my second favorite joke of the movie. After Where's the Foot? Would you settle for a PG-13 relationship? What's that? And then flashes a man's hairy chest. That's what Cindy has.
She's so happy. Then she closes her nightgown. She's just like, hee hee.
I know, she acts like nothing about that. Even him falling out the window.
Yeah.
That's something that I like about these spook movies.
Yeah.
Is like when we talked about The Blackening a few months ago, I was struggling to be like, The Blackening has like realistic stakes where it's like there's continuity from scene to scene.
Yeah.
What I like about Scary Movies sometimes is that something happens and just no one acknowledges it.
They just leave it.
They just move on. Yes. Bobby fell out the window. We're done with that though.
Totally.
Let's continue.
Yeah, you have to move on. You know what another moment like that is? Speaking of Kurt Fuller a couple minutes ago, and it's another funny moment, is when she's in the police station after Ghostface has chased her wherever it was, I guess her house, and you know, usually they'll show you pictures of maybe suspects or something like that. So Kurt Fuller sits down with her and he's like, okay, I'm going to show you some photos, okay? And again, played completely straight.
He's perfect for this, Kurt Fuller. He was built for this. Kurt Fuller. He is like a superstar.
Made for this. If you don't know who Kurt Fuller is, this might not help that much because this is also a really old movie. But he is in Wayne's World.
He's like the bad guy in Wayne's World.
Yeah. He's Rob Lowe's henchman.
Or is he Wayne's World 2?
No,
he's in Wayne's World 1? Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
so
he's a cop and he's like, okay, I'm going to show you some photos, okay? And he hands her a manila folder and it's just photos of him in like bikini bottoms, just like posing in a backyard, just like hands on his head and hips, whatever. And she's just going like, no, like looking through them as though you're looking at different suspects. She's not reacting to them in any weird way. And she's like, no. And he's like, okay. And he's like, wait a second, not this one either. And it's just like one of the same pictures. And she's just like, no, I'm sorry. And he's like, okay, had to ask. And just like, puts it away. That is so funny.
That is so goddamn funny. How are you not recommending this movie? That's my third favorite joke.
It's so funny. Because those moments
they're few and far between. I know. But, for every one of
those things are really funny.
It's so goddamn funny. It's worth. See, that to me, that's the struggle. In my head, I'm like...
You're like, it's worth the price of admission?
It's such a funny joke that those things will stick with you. The idea that there are jokes in this movie that are worth remembering and still make me laugh right now...
But perhaps you can look that up on YouTube.
Maybe. I guess. I think it's housed all in the entire vibe of him having been... Like, I think he's actually really good at playing...
He's great.
His entire role. He's like so deadpan natural.
Oh, yeah.
He even plays off Principal Squigman naturally. Doofy, of course. He handles with aplomb.
Wow, we haven't even talked about Doofy.
Not in this episode. We've talked at length about Doofy in other episodes of this and the Netherworld Dispatch.
Yes.
But there's still more to say.
Much to say.
What did you think?
Did you see Doofy's IMDb picture? Dave Sheridan's IMDb picture?
No.
It's weird. He has it's kind of like a jokey picture or something. He has like a long mullet.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's like not him making Doofy face, but it's just not.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know.
It's got to be some character. I mean, it looks older.
Right, but not that much older.
No, I don't know. Before we get to Doofy, because that's gonna take a minute.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Principal Squigman?
I mean, there's not much to say. Just his presence is... It's so weird. Also, it's made
genius.
It's genius, but... Well, William, it's genius in a way, but this was made for, like, teenagers in the year 2000.
I got it. You didn't get it?
Of course I got it, but at the time?
Yeah.
You got that at the time, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I watched Laverne and Shirley. Did you not?
Kind of.
I watched so much Laverne and Shirley.
I was not really into it, but I mean, I knew, but I'm just, okay. I'm surprised. I wouldn't think that like teenagers in the year 2000 were like really that up on Squiggy.
I can confirm that they definitely were not, because Lenny and Squiggy is almost a joke between me and Al, because she has no idea who they are.
Okay.
And periodically, I've been at parties with her, where I'll say to other people, like, she doesn't even know who Lenny and Squiggy are. Because no one does.
And then all the other people are like, what?
Yeah, no one in our age group does.
Right.
I used to watch so much Nick at Night. And in the 90s, Laverne and Shirley was on there along with Taxi.
Yes.
I watched so many things.
I would always get frustrated when Nick at Night came on.
So, Happy Days had the Fonz, played by Henry Winkler. He was the coolest guy in the world. He was a cool guy greaser. Then Laverne and Shirley were on Happy Days. Then they spun off into their own show, Laverne and Shirley, where there was another greaser guy, but he was a loser greaser guy named Squiggy.
Right.
And he dressed like the Fonz, but he was a dork.
Yes.
And he would go, hello. It's like he slid in the door like Kramer, basically.
Yeah.
So Scream has Henry Winkler play the principal, and even to like chucks his hair in the bathroom mirror and stuff like
yeah.
He does little Fonzie touches things.
Right.
So Scary Movie has Squiggy play the principal of their movie, parodying the Fonz from Happy Day. It's genius.
William, I of course understand that.
It's genius. That is a brilliant touch. When we've always joked about Henry Winkler's voiceover in Scream, where he's like,
yeah.
I need you to quiet down, kids.
I love you.
I love you all. There will be a
principal
curfew.
loves you.
Yeah, it's like so soft and weird.
Yeah.
When it's Squiggy going like, will be conducting interviews throughout the day. And then it cuts to his office and it says Principal Squiggy. But he's credited as Principal Squigman.
I know.
Which is weird.
I know, I saw it.
And there's like a Shots Brewery thing on the wall, which is the Milwaukee Laverne and Shirley thing.
Yeah.
Did you miss everything?
I didn't. William, I saw everything else except for the Shots
You have to go back and do your homework on Squiggy because I'm getting pissed off.
William, I knew everything else you've said about Squiggy. I'm just saying that joke seems like a little much for the 15-year-olds of the year 2000.
Yeah. Except for one.
I guess so.
Me with some friend I don't remember who it was.
Dad
and
2
Dad
rows behind
somewhere
you.
behind me. I loved that. I thought he was terrible at doing what he did.
Yeah.
Because they go like, oh, Cindy Campbell, huh? Wasn't she the daughter of And then he tries to do the like finger poking into the hand thing.
Yeah.
And then Kurt Fuller mimes humping.
Yeah.
And they cut back to Squiggy and he's still doing the finger in the hole. Like he couldn't come up with another thing. No. He's terrible at it.
Kurt Fuller's hump was funny too.
Kurt Fuller is so funny.
He's great.
He's so goddamn funny. All right. And here's Doofy.
Yeah, enter Doof.
So Doofy walks in and it smells. And he goes, sorry, I went poopy. Kurt Fuller goes, you just say that you went poopy? Doofy goes, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, get him out of here. And then he goes, how about a change of underwear, son? This is Kurt Fuller. Kurt Fuller, off of Doofy being the dumbest thing in the world,
yeah.
Kurt Fuller somehow made it funny again.
Totally.
How about a change of underwear, son? And it said so dryly. Like, God damn it. I'm so annoyed at myself, but he's good.
We haven't explained who Doofy is.
Everyone knows who Doofy is.
Well, I don't know that they do. So Doofy is the Dewey stand-in in this movie, but they have made Doofy an adult with developmental disabilities. A very insensitive portrayal.
I don't even know what it's supposed. It's.
Who knows?
It's like a
I don't think they do.
Stereotype on stereotype on
stereotype.
stereotype. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like Doofy has everything about it's like he's like Mad Magazine. He like his gun is a water pistol.
Right.
The badge on his shirt is cut out of felt.
Yeah.
Like everything is like so.
He draws a wanted poster in crayon.
Right.
He has a tiny child's backpack.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. And I have to say, I did laugh at Doofy in spite of myself a few times, but it's for a slightly different reason than just, boy, isn't it funny that he's a disabled man.
Of course.
What was making me laugh was imagining David Arquette watch this movie and how aggressive this movie is about Dewey. This is like, it's like getting hit with a rocket that they're like, Dewey is Doofy.
Yeah.
He's the stupidest person. He's gross.
Right.
He smells. He's pathetic. And just imagine David Arquette being like, wait a minute. Does everyone think this is like an accurate parody of me?
That's me?
The sheer aggression is what made me laugh at the creation of Doofy at all.
Now, you know what I think that we were robbed of, but it couldn't be done any other way. I would like to see the machinations behind Gale Hailstorm and Dewey's whole scheme here.
Wouldn't you?
I would love to see how all this went down.
You know, as a teenager, I always dreamed of some form of like a prequel where like Billy and Stu, like how they put it all together. What was the folie à deux? What was the moment that one of them said to the other, here's what we do, and the other one's agreed?
Right.
Because that's fascinating to me. That happens in real life.
Yes.
It's crazy that two people can agree to do something so
Luckily, we got the movie
dastardly.
Murder by Numbers, which filled in some of the gaps.
Thank God for that movie. Where I think, was that also Ryan Phillippe?
No, it's Ryan Gosling and Michael Pitt.
Yeah, that's right. And they literally draw a picture of themselves where their faces are merged.
Yes.
Like a Nintendo DS merging faces, if anyone gets that reference. I similarly dream of Gale Hailstorm and Doofy. When did they know? You know?
Well,
did she know? Did she catch on partway through this movie?
Well, she obviously didn't know from the word go because...
She tickles his tummy.
She tickles his tummy.
And he farts. And she goes, remind me not to do that again.
But you know what's weird? He farts and then she holds her stomach.
She does?
Yeah, so for a second I was like, wait a second, did she fart? But no, it obviously was him because that's the joke.
She was just uncomfortable that she tickled this grown man's tummy and farted.
Totally. And then she was just in a defensive position for herself. comforting herself.
Would you like a Sherry O'Terry?
Incredible.
Our house.
Another thing that made me laugh, which was Sherry O'Terry. Basically every second Sherry O'Terry. But another thing that proves she didn't know that Doofy was...
The more evidence, another smoking gun that she didn't know yet.
Well, she's trying to seduce Doofy into giving her information, and she pulls his finger into her mouth, and then she goes like, "Ugh."
Yeah, there's something.
His finger tasted bad.
Something on his finger.
Yeah. So she clearly, this wasn't her existing hot boyfriend.
Right.
Who she knew would have a clean finger.
Right. Yes, of course. Yes. So some seduction happened in that van.
Right. And so could it have been at that point that he was like, "Look, I'm actually handsome man."
Yeah, I'm actually a killer man.
Right. I'm not sure. I don't really think so. That maybe it was after he said Gail Swallows into the.
Right. She goes, I cannot reveal my sources. Yeah. Hi, Gail. She kind of looks around awkwardly. And he says in the microphone, Gail Swallows. And then everyone just kind of looks at Gail and she looks embarrassed.
And that's why we thought her name was Gail Swallows until we rewatched the movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
I do like how she delivers, I cannot reveal my sources.
Of course.
And then the most obvious thing happens.
She is so funny. I love Sherry O'Terry.
She is very funny.
So then also, was Doofy faking this for like his entire life to his family?
I know. He's Shannon Elizabeth's brother.
Yeah, he's been masterminding this forever.
Yes.
My God.
I know. Can you
imagine? The patience.
I know.
And the pathos.
A snake lying in wait in the grass.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Like a trap spider, Doofy. Just waiting for the right moment to strike. In his bedroom, cleaning his room.
I told you not to interrupt me when I'm cleaning my room.
He's in his bulging underwear, dragging a vacuum cleaner. You're laughing at all these things. You're laughing at everything we're talking about, and you're telling me you don't recommend this movie, but everything we've talked about.
I laugh at everything we talk about.
Everything we're talking about is making you laugh when we're referencing things that happen in this film. How about this moment?
It's funnier to watch. I mean, it's funnier to talk about than to watch.
How about this moment?
Yeah.
Lachlan Monroe is alone in the locker room.
Oh, loved this. Are you kidding?
He's doing the speed bag, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he walks to his locker, and just like I Know What You Did Last summer, where there was a note left for Ryan Phillippe of like, I know what you did. It's a Polaroid, and it's just a man from belly button down to like his shins with a micro penis.
Yes.
And it just says, I know at the bottom.
Yes.
And Lachlan Monroe, playing it perfectly.
It was great.
Starts like punching the locker. He's like, who did this?
Yeah.
Come on out, man.
Yeah, where are you? And then he goes and shows all his friends.
He shows all his friends and they laugh at him.
Yeah.
But then Cindy goes, you're not the only one who got one, because she got a threatening note too.
Right.
But he goes, what, you mean Bobby's got a baby dick too?
Yeah.
And everyone looks at Bobby. She goes, no, I got a note. And they move on with the plot.
Right.
That baby dick photo
is so funny.
I know.
It's like they just took like a picture of like a normal like dick and legs and everything, and then they just kind of like, I don't know how you would do this, but just drew a circle around the dick and balls and shrunk. It's so funny.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
And
I loved it.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite joke?
It's gotta be I mean, I think it's Miss Man, if I'm being honest. And not just for like the like
uncoolness of it.
Yeah, it's just like so stupid and unnecessary. It's like not funny. I never even liked it in Jackass when it's like Johnny Knoxville plays an old man with long
I
balls.
hate that. I know.
I just think it's stupid on top of the like, oh my God, Miss Man, the gym teacher looks like a man, like just like all that shit. It was tired then.
Totally.
It's like double, triple tired now.
Yeah.
And the most like the thing about it is also just like if that scene weren't in the movie, nothing would change.
No.
So it's just like, and I know that's the way it is with like a lot of jokes, but
it's a bad one.
There's just like extra nothing. There's extra nothing to it. So like the whole thing just crushed Miss Man and it's toast.
Yeah, totally.
What about you?
What's Up?
You didn't like that.
I don't like What's Up.
Yeah, they do a parody of a commercial.
Yeah.
We'll see this again next week.
I'm sure.
They do a parody of a beer commercial.
I will say it makes sense to parody commercials because they were very like common denominator for everybody.
That's
like when
true.
these came out, you could not fast forward commercials. Like there was not that kind of technology. So we all kind of knew of them.
Yeah.
If you had a TV.
That's a good point. Yeah. And at least the WhatsApp scene, even if you don't know the commercial, it just plays as like a bunch of dudes sitting around being so LOL hilarious with each other.
Right.
But yeah, it's the Ghostface mask changes to have the tongue hanging out, which always annoyed me.
Yeah.
I hate that's like a thing in Mad Magazine that always bothered me as a kid is like there'll be like Superman. And then in the next panel, the S on his shirt is a fire hydrant. And then in the next panel, the S in his shirt is like a dog taking a shit.
Yeah.
It's just like, I know everything's got to be a gag, but like there's no stability anywhere.
Right. His clothes are changing.
The rubber mask, when I was saying, moves like a face.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
It's not possible.
And the worst, I think, is what you already called out, the Matrix fight scene, which is not a parody of a horror movie, and looks bad and is long.
It looks terrible.
It looks so awful.
Like, it cuts all of a sudden to Anna Faris, like, floating, and she's, like, a different color than everything else.
Yeah.
Like, she's totally washed out. It looks
Exposure's
so
all
weird.
messed up. Yeah, it looks terrible.
Ugh.
What do you think about Anna Faris?
I thought she was great.
This was like her first role.
I know. She's perfect for what this is.
Ever.
She did a great job.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
To be honest.
She's perfect.
She really is pretty perfect.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Bobby, her boyfriend?
Annoying.
Really? I thought he was actually pretty all right.
He's doing what he's supposed to do,
Yeah.
but I didn't like him.
Okay, fair enough.
Really. The other least favorite joke for me was Shannon Elizabeth's death.
Yes.
It was really
irritating.
annoying.
Yes.
It was just, it was her being like, oh, I know what's supposed to happen now. I'm supposed to run from the killer. Oh, I'm running. And like fake running. She's like, oh, and now's the part where I break my leg running. And then she like really breaks her
She
leg.
snaps her own leg.
So that it's just like that over and over
Yeah,
again.
it's tired.
To the point where he like beheads her and she's like, oh, now I'm supposed to be dead when it's like her beheaded
Look
head.
at me. I'm a gross severed head.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
throws her head in the garbage.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It is in that scene though that you see that their high school in the back, it's painted, the high school name is on the wall, B.A. Corpse High School. Pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't see that in the moment, but I saw that later when I was looking stuff up.
Shannon Elizabeth, just in general, I think it's like weird that she's in this movie almost. I don't know. There's something about her that like
Because she's not very comedic. Is that what you're?
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. This movie seemed beneath her? Question mark?
Kind of, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like they needed a hot girl,
Yeah.
and so that's basically why she's in it.
That's probably true.
I don't know. Was this pre or post American Pie?
Got to be post.
Yeah.
I think.
I guess so.
I like a couple of the jokes when we first meet her, where she's putting on makeup, and Cindy is like, "Don't you know they test that makeup on animals?"
Oh, I know.
And pulls a pamphlet out of her bag, and it's a chimpanzee holding a lipstick. He's got lipstick lines all over his face.
I did like that too.
Like the animal testing is just giving a chimp a tube of lipstick and seeing what he does with it.
They're gonna get messy.
They're just gonna get all messy.
Yeah. That's the problem.
And then Shannon Elizabeth is saying, like, I just want to help people. And then a homeless man comes up and asks for $1.
Yeah.
Says, ew, get away from me, you bum.
Yeah.
So Cindy goes, oh, come on. Sir, I know what you need here. Here's a nice sandwich. They start to walk away. And he looks at the sandwich and goes, I asked for $1, bitch. And he
Yeah.
throws the sandwich at her.
Yeah.
Which I think is also a pretty funny joke.
It's not bad.
I don't want a sandwich. I want $1.
I asked for
And he
$1.
throws the sandwich at her.
Yeah.
And hits her with a sandwich.
It's not bad, honestly.
That's not terrible.
No. Do you want to hear about some of the people who may have been cast in this movie, but they weren't?
Sure.
Okay. So, where is it? All right. Alicia Silverstone was almost cast as Cindy instead of Anna
I
Faris.
can see that.
Jared Leto
Ugh.
was almost cast as Bobby.
Ugh.
Oy.
He was an urban legend.
I know.
There's like a line to me in Scary Movie. You can't have, and I don't know why I feel this way, you can't have somebody who was in a real horror movie appear in
see that.
these. And you shouldn't have anyone who was ever in these appear in a real horror movie that I care about, Anthony Anderson.
Yeah.
Anthony Anderson is in 3 and 4, I think. Scary Movie 3 and 4. And then he's in Scream 4.
Right.
And that always felt like some form of betrayal. I never liked
Is he
that.
betraying the Scary Movie franchise to you? Or
Scream
is it that...
is betraying me,
Yeah.
personally.
Right, okay.
Because Scream was always satirical. This is where it's like, I keep trying to figure out the language of how to describe this.
Yeah.
'Cause people always talk about Scream being funny or being a comedy.
Yeah.
And I think they're all wrong. It's not funny.
No.
When it works correctly, Scream has characters that aren't afraid of making a joke to each other because they're friends.
Yeah.
Scream is satirical and meta, but none of that shit makes me laugh. It works best when that somehow is a comment
Yeah, totally.
On what our characters are really doing.
Yes.
So in
Although
Scream,
I do remember Scream making my friends laugh when I was, like when it first came out. Like I hadn't seen it yet. I didn't see it in the theaters, but my friends did in Connecticut. And I do remember them talking about like just just silly things. Like I remember it being a thing when Billy put the like stuffed animal up and went like, "Oh, close call."
Okay, well that's him trying to be funny.
No,
though.
I know.
Well,
and
good.
like there were, I don't remember, but yeah, like.
But yeah, they're not like gag movies.
No.
So in Scream 4, I felt like somehow the wall was being broken between serious Scream and hilarious scary movie. Because Anthony Anderson is not a character in that movie. It's like a stunt casting thing. It's him and Adam Brody.
Yep.
It's just like, don't pull somebody from Scary Movie into this.
Yeah,
you may as well have Dave Sheridan running around with his vacuum cleaner.
You bite your tongue.
You know he'd love that.
Of course he would love that.
Dave Sheridan has been trying to get Doofy to come. He hopes that Doofy is in the new Scary Movie. Because he lives beyond this one, you know.
I know. Oh, man. You know what? Okay, let me tell you about these casting things, and then we should talk about the end of the movie for the end of this show.
Yes,
like what
should.
happened. Okay, so just a couple more. Aaliyah or Lil' Kim were in talks to play Brenda.
Okay. I like Regina Hall so much.
I love Regina Hall. Did you ever watch Black Monday, that show on Showtime? It was her and Paul Scheer and Don Cheadle. It was great.
She's excellent in this.
So good. Yeah, she's so good. Jenny McCarthy Wahlberg or Britney Spears were in talks to be Drew Decker.
Well.
Which I know would also have
okay.
been problematic for you. And then Jennifer Coolidge's Miss Man.
Yeah. I of note in this movie, because I think we're gonna see some surprising information.
What do you mean?
Next week.
Okay.
Next week. Sean Wayans dies in this movie. Marlon Wayans gets shot just like Randy, but never comes back, so it's presumed he died.
Yeah.
Brenda dies on stage like Jada Pinkett.
Yep.
And yet they're all going to be back next week.
Right.
And I think that's like, that alone is where it's like, yeah, these movies are just, who cares? You could just have everyone die. There's no reason they couldn't kill Cindy and have her back next week.
Yeah, totally.
It's just interesting to see where the line is.
Yeah.
What has actually occurred of note that has to be adhered to?
Yeah, like where is the continuity?
It's like, we just like Brenda, so she's coming back. And that is
fine by
me, because I like her.
Yeah, it's not a serious movie.
Exactly, but why isn't Shannon Elizabeth back?
I don't know.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's like, I don't know.
Maybe it was a real life reason.
Maybe.
You know? Who knows?
Maybe she was like, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah. Okay,
the end of the movie.
So, Doofy. So, we find out that Doofy's disability has all been an act.
Yes.
He's been Kaiser Sozeing everyone. Doofy leaves the police station. It seems like simultaneously as they have figured out that Doofy is up to something.
Yeah, because there's like a whole confusing thing where it's like, I guess he was Ghostface.
Yeah.
But then separately, Bobby and Ray.
They were like, oh, it was perfect. We were copying the other killer.
So they do Billy and Stu stuff.
Yeah.
To try to kill Cindy, but they know that they're mimicking Doofy's murders. Right. And then they get murdered by Doofy.
Right.
So Doofy is the big mastermind, and Ray and Bobby were just like an offshoot thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Cindy is in Kurt Fuller's office when they realize that who could it have been? It had to be somebody who would hide in plain sight, who had a connection to all the victims. And then Cindy starts to flash back to Shannon Elizabeth saying that Doofy was Drew Decker's, or she used to babysit.
Yeah. And he had such a crush on her.
Yeah, he had a crush on Drew Decker. And then she drops her coffee mug, just like in The Usual Suspects, which I think says Kobayashi on the bottom of The Usual Suspects, because there's like a major character in that movie that is called Kobayashi, and you realize like, oh my God, it's just a thing on a mug.
And this one says like Doofus Industries.
Doofus Industries. And I think there was a goldfish.
There was.
The coffee. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
But Doofus Industries got me. Is that, wow, how that's where Doofy got his name.
Yeah, right.
Doofus Industries.
I don't even get that.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, why does it say? I understand his name is Doofy. It says Doofus Industries. It's just like, what does that mean?
It's a play on Kobayashi.
I know, but what does it mean in this movie?
Nothing. It's just funny.
I know.
And then they show Doofy walking down the street outside, 1 foot crooked, just walking on the outside heel until his gait suddenly straightens. Doofy doesn't really walk like that. Oh my God, Doofy's been playing us this whole time.
He rips off his Doofy mustache.
And he's a hot guy. He's hot guy Dave Sheridan. He lights a cigarette.
His hair is slicked back and he jumps into Hailstorm's convertible.
Yeah.
They give a smooch and they drive off into the sunset. And he throws his tiny little Doofy backpack into the street.
Where Kurt Fuller and Cindy Campbell stumble across it, and Kurt Fuller picks up Doofy's backpack. And the Ghostface mask was inside of it.
Oh my
and he
God.
just wanders off screen like, I can't believe it. He played us all.
Yeah.
And Cindy just screams.
Yeah.
The camera pans up and up and up and a car hits her.
Yeah.
And it smashes to credits.
Right.
A great ending.
Yeah.
An ending for the ages,
Yeah.
perhaps. Hot take. Ready for a hot take?
Yes.
Hear me out, as they
Okay.
say on X.
Okay.
Dave Sheridan at the end of this movie, where he's got the water pistol.
Uh-huh.
I think he looks kind of cool. I think it looks kind of cool to have a water, like a glowing, like a neon yellow and neon green squirt gun in a holster on your side. I think looks kind of cool.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Hear me out.
Hear me out.
Picture of Doofy.
Look.
That's what people say on X when they're like, this person's actually hot. Hear me out.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Doofy.
Maybe you should start carrying a water pistol.
Transformed Doofy. I don't think I should. I think Doofy should. Yeah. And then there's one last gag over the credits where it is Marlon Wayans as Shorty.
Yeah.
Who's doing the Randy's rules from Scream 3 specifically because it's on tape.
Yep.
And he's like, you got to run and never look back. And then he goes, snatch and grab. He's in a convenience store and they're trying to steal snacks from the convenience store. And then it smashes back to credits with a rap song about Scary Movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Ghostface had rapped at some point during the movie.
Right.
And then they have a professional rap version of the Ghostface rap song over the credits.
Yeah. It's all very holistic.
I'll tell you what. Again, I think that sometimes the best thing a movie can do, especially a funny one, is leave you with like a good song or like a good vibe.
Like Spiral.
Like Spiral. I'm going to take a dump in a spiral.
Yep.
I think this movie achieves that. And it left me being like, I might just put on the next one. I did not. I couldn't do that to my wife.
I got to tell you, I immediately turned the movie off as soon as it was
You didn't
over.
see the Shorty scene?
No, here's the thing.
You have to go back and watch the whole thing.
I turned it off. I just caught that there was the Shorty thing and I went, oh, well, I missed it. And I went, oh, God damn it. I got to turn it back on. So I did.
Thank you for
But
being
I
professional.
but I was ready to leave the world.
Wow.
I was real ready. So I did not have that experience. I did go back in. I did go back in.
I've heard a lot of laughter this episode. A lot of yucks. A lot of chuckles.
I did have yucks. I did have chuckles. But those are what, as far as me watching the movie, 5 times I've talked about laughing in an hour-and-a-half movie?
Mm-hmm. So that's how many times per hour? Wait a minute. Well, not per hour.
Yeah.
5 times.
minutes.
It's like 2 times a half hour almost. That's like once every 15 minutes. Uh-huh. Almost.
Okay.
Not quite. So
Yeah.
technically it's less than 1 time every 15 minutes. You laughed.
And the rest is me, like, I start to think about what I should be doing. And then I go, I'm watching a movie. I got to watch this for the show. Okay.
Yeah. So then here's the real question.
Or me
because-
going like, to Shorty.
I know, Shorty is very obnoxious.
Yeah.
How are you feeling going into next week now? Because I think it's too daunting to look at the whole body of SCARMUTO
No, I just have to look at the next step
a week at a time
that I have to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what next week is?
Kind of. Yeah.
I believe that it is a send up of
The Exorcist.
The Exorcist is in there. Yeah, it's a paranormal.
Because I think that Andy Richter is a priest.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. And I think the framework of it, just like this is basically the bones of Scream with jokes on top.
Yeah.
I think the bones next week are of a haunting or whatever that was called. What is it?
Oh.
The Haunting of Hill House
Yeah.
is the Mike Flanagan show and the
Catherine Zeta-Jones movie, The Haunting.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that's the bones. A bunch
is
of
that
people
what it's
go in
called?
for a sleep study to a big grand
Yeah.
like castle thing.
Right,
And
okay.
that was like a big budget mess.
Yeah.
Like Owen Wilson's in it, like
Yes.
all these people. And so next week's movie, next
Is Owen
week's
Wilson
scary
in
movie.
this?
No. No, I do believe that he is in what Marlon Wayans would later do called a haunted house when he lost access to Scary Movie.
Oh.
I think he is.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I mean, I'll just keep chugging along.
So this week they made fun of slashers. Next week they're doing supernatural. Ghost stuff.
And okay, you know what? Just one foot in front of the other.
Okay. Are you looking forward to next week at all? Do you think it could possibly be as good as or better? Do you think you could possibly recommend?
Might be better.
Okay. All right.
For some reason, I think it might be better.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to find out, everybody. We're going to do this all together.
And then I think it's going to take a sharp turn at 3. However, I am somewhat encouraged by Leslie Nielsen's presence, but I don't know.
I know. I think the Leslie Nielsen stuff itself will be enjoydoable and almost everything else. Mm-hmm. I think at a certain point I'm going to literally be angry during SCARMUTO.
Right.
Well,
when does Charlie Sheen come in?
I think 3.
Okay.
I think if I could guess, and I haven't looked up anything.
Yeah.
I know next week is like hauntings and paranormal stuff.
Right.
I think 3, the framework is War of the Worlds. Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds.
Okay.
Worlds, I think. 4, I think might be The Grudge.
Okay.
And 5, I literally have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea what 5 might be. Maybe The Village. I know there's a Village joke somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I have.
That's weird if it's The Village. I feel like that's like not really distinctive enough to. Well, it's distinctive, but it seems. I don't know. It seems like a weird thing to frame. Dour.
Maybe that's just like a scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that 3 is going to be War of the Worlds. I think 4 is The Grudge. And
there's definitely signs stuff in one of these movies, so it makes sense for 3 to be War of the Worlds because it's like aliens.
Yes, I think 3 is aliens. Yeah, good, better way to put it. I think, this was slashers. Next week is ghosts. Then it's aliens. And then maybe 4 and 5 I'm a little confused about because I know I've seen like Shaq and Dr. Phil in the Saw bathroom.
I know
many times I've seen that.
I know I've seen like a send up of The Others where it's Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Underneath the sheet.
Yes, good point. Mm-hmm. And then who's that Rocket guy? Red Rocket? Remember that man made a movie called Red Rocket?
Oh, Simon Rex.
Simon Rex. I'm very concerned about seeing him.
Yeah.
I find him to be very annoying.
That is concerning.
And he becomes almost a main character. And he does a lot of parodies of 8 Mile.
Oh, God.
They do a whole 8 Mile thing in one of these movies.
That's not good.
Ooh, I've got concerns. Whoa, do I have concerns? Well, the Wayans retain to next week at least, which to me is a good thing.
Yeah, I didn't think, as annoying as I found Shorty, I'm troubled that the Wayans lose control.
I've always disliked that about this franchise, that the Wayans stopped being part of it after 2 felt weird to me.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I don't know who guided those movies. I don't know if it was Friedberg and Seltzer, who again had nothing to do with this movie. I have no idea. But it did always feel to me that Scary Movie had they were like people that were trying to make a thing.
Yeah, totally.
And then it just diverted into like Chuckle Fest. Not that this isn't Chucklefest, but but it was theirs.
Yeah.
And then it just suddenly wasn't. I know that never sat right with me.
Yeah.
Especially given that Marlon Wayans later tried to do another horror thing. I was like, this feels like something got stolen from him and he tried to rebuild.
Trying to get it back.
But I also know that the Wayans made White Chicks.
True. Did Keenan Ivory Wayans direct that Marlon Wayans thing where they tried to get it back?
Great question. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. Well, SCARMUTO is 20% over.
That's right.
We did it, everybody.
Okay. Well, we'll be back next week with installment 2 of SCARMUTO. You might know that as Scary Movie 2.
Yeah, we know it as SCARMUTO too.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this. You can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/GTTUpod if you'd like to support the show and get more of this.
Yep.
And
who doesn't want more of this?
Yeah, right. And you can also follow us online at GTTUpod as well as individually. I am at Chillin' Kristen.
I'm at The Myth Traveler. So see you next week for SCARMUTO 2.
Yeah.
But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld go we.
There's a weird thing in the movie that is such a sign of the times that this was the year 2000. At the end of the movie, when Ray and Bobby are being Billy and Stu, and they're like, movies suck, whatever. They're like in I Know What You Did Last Summer Part 2, what was with that fat white Jamaican guy? Oh, I wanted to kill that guy.
Oh, yeah.
They're talking about Jack Black.
Right.
Jack Black was not a household name beloved figure when this movie came out. They only knew him as the fat white Jamaican kid.
Right.
From I Know What You Did Last Summer, too. What a weird thing, right?
I know.
Yeah.
And now he's huge.
Now he's huge. He's still terrible in that movie.
Of course.
They are right that he was bad in that movie.
Yeah. But now he is legend.